If everyone's sitting comfortably, then I shall begin. I take that off because I just hate having the headphones on. It always just makes my head go. Yes, welcome to episode 14. And this is, I'm Aubrey, Blakeledge, and welcome to Fizzy Brain. This is a stream, podcast, vlog, vanity project, talking about the creativity from the point of a weird, fizzy-brained, bard wizard creature. That's me. Sharing with you guys what it's like to be on the road with me and how my brain works, trying to sort of go from project to project, all random stuff going on. So before I get stuck into the program, let's do a bit of housekeeping. So as always, there's always tickets coming up for sale. Ticketsource.co.uk/awkward strawberry, because we've got an awkward strawberry event coming up soon. I've got shows on the 3rd of April, which is the awkward strawberry show. The next one coming up, featuring the magnificent Elena, Sirrett, and Fragile Lucy, who are going to be joining me. And we've also got, on the 4th of April, the Black Dog in Weymouth. More about that later. And at the Lion in Bristol on the 5th, got the going to be Sick Mega, which is basically me and a load of DJs from Bristol. Some comedians and arty people are putting on a show at the Lion. It's going to be absolute filth, and it's going to be a jolly good laugh. I'm looking forward to it. And on the 6th, I will be returning home early as I can on the train, smelling of booze, doing stupid things, and laughing at my friends doing a marathon, because why not? The next Aubrey's Story Time is Aubrey's Story Time. I should just call it Story Stream on Monday the 7th, because got distracted. Normally it would have been yesterday, but things have been going all over the place, so I'm going to do an impromptu one next Monday, and then returning back to the last Monday of the month schedule kind of thing. And of course every Tuesday, at 9 p.m. is Fizzy Brain, which is this. So for the uninitiative, the new people, what on earth is this thing, and what am I doing, and what am I talking about? So basically, as a way of sort of sharing people, there was an echo because my phone was doing a recording, so that's been sorted out. Oh, it was a you problem. Never mind. So I'm reading the chat, everyone. I'm just excited to be streaming you guys, and I'm excited to see the fact that the stream seems to be working properly, which is a very rare occurrence for me, and I was looking at the wrong camera. Good evening, everybody, those who joined a little bit later. So the show is split into two parts. The first half is what I'm meant to be working on as a self-employed musician, comedian, performer, that sort of thing. And then part 2 is basically what I've actually been doing. Normally I do a musical interlude too, but I've got so much to talk about that I don't think there's going to be enough time. And I've got so much exciting news to tell you, all kinds of different things, both what I'm meant to be doing and what has been happening anyway, that I'm just going to crack on, and we'll forgo that this time, but I promise we'll be back, because lots of interesting things, particularly for those of you who are on my Patreon, because I'll save that news for a bit later. Anyway, so let us crack on. Let us leaf through our bits and pieces. So what's been going on for the last several weeks, because obviously I haven't been doing all the streams. I do apologize. Things have been going all over the place. It's been not just sort of like God, I'm just getting the chat up on my phone, so it's actually easier to keep on my phone at the moment. What's going on, you crazy thing? Yes, stream. Idiot. Right. Cool. Silly thing. Right. So basically, lots of things have happened the last couple of weeks. I've been on holiday. I've had emergencies. I've had problems, good news, bad news, all kinds of things. And so I do apologize for completely ruining my streaming schedule. I will be getting back onto that and sorting it, which is possibly the most cliche thing that any streamer can ever say, because I think it's as every streamer apologizes for crap streaming etiquette. But, I'm going to be sorting that out. So there's that been going on. One of the big things is the Call Me Mother performance that I've been working towards, was basically handled in many ways by the guys running it as a bit of a shambles, a lovely shambles, well-meaning shambles, but a shambles nonetheless, because some of you guys on the stream, I know that you were planning to come along, and that was so wonderful. I was really looking forward to having some familiar face in the audience. But we were told the tickets were on sale, and the time that I said they're on sale, and then they sold out, I think, about 3 days later. So we weren't expecting it to sell out at all, because we thought, who the fuck is going to turn up and watch some avant-garde theatre here in Southampton? Apparently a shitload. So yes, it's sold out. So I do apologise that you couldn't make it. I am having a meeting with the guys tomorrow, that is Wednesday, about what's going to happen next, what kind of bits and pieces are going to be occurring, what's new, well, basically what exciting stuff is going to be happening as part of the project, and whether we're going to do more shows. There is obviously the intention of doing unleashing the show in its entirety and doing a tour. So potentially that could be a thing, which I'm very excited to hear about. And apparently they've had some good feedback. I don't know what that is or whether it's been funded, but I've been hearing little rumours that potentially there's some exciting news coming my way. So, pardon me, just exciting. I've been on the coffee for the last 2 weeks, and it's starting to catch up with me. So I've not had any coffee today, and it killed me. So I think I do have a coffee problem. I'm going to try and wean myself off it. So because I like coffee, and I don't want to have to give it up. So I'm not going to go too mental with it, if that makes sense. Anyway. So the show was absolute joy. I've had a smashing time. It was so much fun. So basically, we were part of a showcase with a load of other projects working in Southampton, showcasing different theatre ideas, musical theatre and bits and pieces, and some comedy works and some monologues and some ideas. And it was an absolute pleasure to be on the lineup, even if there was some very exaggerated musical theatre. What's the word? It was well performed, but it was that kind of musical theatre that I find terrifying, because there is a sort of like an exaggerated kind of performance, like, and everyone's sort of like standing there and like, yeah, we're gonna do really normal things. Oh yeah, and when people hold things, they don't hold them; they just go, yeah. Oh, I've got a thing in my hand. By the way, this is the gin I'm drinking at the moment from Edinburgh. More about Edinburgh later. But yeah, this is sort of everything's like gonna. It's the only place you're going to hear the phrase gotta or gonna. And everyone puts on a really weird American accent when they're singing, even if they're playing British characters. And it's sort of like, but it was wonderfully well done, even if they did run over their time, bastards. But yeah, there was so much talent to be part of, and then our show went well, I think, as well. Working with those actors has been an absolute pleasure and an honour, but also a real positive learning experience where I've learned so much, and I want to do more. I want to do more acting because it was good fun. And one of the things that came out of it is, so big shout out to Georgia, Kaylee, Vic, and our director, CJ, or as I call them, they refer to Siege, so I just refer to them as the Siege Engine. And Ree, obviously, who is the creative force behind the whole thing. But a little shout out, and I say shout out, they're not going to be watching because they're not, bless them. But Vic returned an absolute bit of pleasure into my life, because I don't know if I've mentioned this to you in the past. Some of you know this, some of you don't, that I have an anger issue with my drawings. I hate everything I've ever drawn. It's a very weird thing because I do a lot of creative stuff. I do painting, I do drawing, I do models, I do music, as you may have noticed, comedy, all these different things. And if I'm not brilliant at those things, I still get a sense of pleasure from what works, and I get frustration in a constructive way that makes me want to be better. And I can take pleasure in my old work. I mean, I can listen to like the first Sweet Chunks EP and my first records, and there's a little bit of, good God, I was rubbish back then, but it was still sort of like, oh, I can see that went well. That was good. I enjoyed that, and that has become better. That sort of thing. But with drawing, I've basically hated everything I've ever drawn, even when other people have enjoyed it. I was an animator. I got paid to draw. I got paid to design tattoos. I did. You know, I'm not bad. I'm not brilliant. Don't get me wrong. But the problem I had with it is that I had no satisfaction from my drawings, and I hated everything. So I basically got rid of all my sketchbooks. I burnt my Well, I didn't burn them. I put them in the bin. But considering it when I was a kid, I was a very lonely child, and I basically just doodled all the time. I was kept on drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing. And so for a long time, I would be basically listening to music, listening to audiobooks, and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing all the way through any spare time I had at school. After school, I hide up in my room, just drawing. And then when I got out of university, having realised that it was just I was paddling up the wrong way, up the wrong channel, kind of thing. And I'd realised that music was giving me frustration, but in a way that made me want to be better, and I was enjoying it. For a long time, I just thought that, you know, art is suffering, so you're sort of, oh god, I'm yelling a lot tonight. I do apologise. Am I keeping you up? But the music was causing a frustration that made me want to be better, and I was enjoying it. And same with everything else, my model painting, every other kind of creative thing, but drawing. It's not even. It's like it's like a visual medium. It's always drawing. Painting, fine. Pastels, fine. Just fucking drawing. And I went from drawing at every spare time in my life, spare moment in my life, to basically no drawing at all for 20. No, not 20. Shit. No, yeah, about 20 years, nearly. Let's say 15, just to make sure. Between 15 and 20 years, and just going back every now and then and going, oh, this is shit. So Vic taught me to enjoy doodling again, and I've been enjoying my drawings. I look at my drawings and they are constructively frustrating, which is wonderful for me. It's made me so happy. I nearly cried when I first started doing it. It's a weird thing to explain to someone, but for you to take pleasure from your own creative work and enjoy it and see it as a fun challenge, and also not expecting yourself and lifting all this weight off yourself. It was very simple. Vic suggested that I just, because he's a doodler as well and had a similar thing, and he said, well, basically I deliberately make my drawing shit. And I was like, what do you mean? This is like I do my drawing and then make it crap as possible, and just keep drawing, and then you draw another one, and then doodle something, and doodle and doodle and doodle, and then you with all kinds of sketches, and then one of those little drawings, you'll look at it and go, oh, I like that, and then you'll take that idea and then you'll fiddle with it and you'll make it a bit better, but with that idea of who the fuck cares, let your pencil do strange things, let yourself do stuff. And then, because I realised I was overthinking my doodling, and he helped me do this, and now I've been doodling again, not as much as I used to, because I've got so many other wonderful things to play around with and so many creative toys to play with. But I've got a little book that's filled with lyrics, poems, and things that I do for Sweet Chunks, and from my stories and my songs, and they're also filled with little doodles, little dudes. I always love a good little dude, and so part of them was like me creating little fellows, because I like the idea in my head of creating little forest spirit dudes. And so the way I've done it is just started drawing and putting eyes on everything, and sort of drawing badly a bottle of gin and putting a face on it and the things, and it just spread out from there. And these little drawings have just brought me so much pleasure. So funnily enough, like I was saying, from the play and from all of the work I've been doing with those guys, the biggest thing is this wonderful camaraderie we've had and a real connection with each other. But I've, at the end of it, is as a symbol, a sort of an example of this creativity, because there's been all kinds of bits of creativity from these guys. The drawing is a perfect example of the sort of to and fro we've been giving each other, and how wonderfully supportive they all have been, and it's just been an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to do it again at some point. So yeah, that was the Call Me Mother performance, and as soon as if we get the chance to do it again, I will of course let everyone know in advance, and see if we get a ticket allocation to sell people where we won't run out of fucking space before everyone turns up. So what else has been going on? Underway with the tour. things have been changing. Dates have been changing. I've changed my listings again because I got a message today. Oh, in our sister pub, not the actual pub that you were booked in, I've got all the adverts for, which is why if you noticed on my social medias when I said, oh, someone's forgotten to tell me that in Weymouth we're not at the Belvedere at the Black Dog, it's because I was today. And my mate, who I was going to think, oh, you would be perfect to support me at that show and we can do on it, is booked at the Belvedere. So me and my friend are booked on the same night, so we're now clashing. Brilliant, but we're going to try and go to the pit afterwards. So yeah, there is that. And so very exciting stuff as well as the tours going on and building up and everything. It's been really, really good and really successful because I've been able to put money aside to pay for my holiday that I've just been on. More about that later. So things are going well. Things are progressing and the shows are absolutely brilliant as well. I'm really enjoying myself. So it's the tour is going well. Fingers crossed so far, and more to come in the next couple of weeks. So what else? I'm going to be doing an album with Professor Elemental. We're doing a concept record which is based on the Wicker Man, but it's about an island of Morris dancers, and I am the Lord of the Morris Men. And so yeah, I've been sent some bits and pieces over now that I'm settled in from the holiday and various other things. I'm going to be working on that and sketching some ideas out, which is fantastic. And we talked about recreating the original trailer from The Wicker Man badly as a sort of an advert for everything, which I'm really on for. I get to dress up like Christopher Lee. It'd be fucking great. Whilst I think the prof will be yelling Jesus Christ over and over again as we set fire to a little wicker Professor Elemental. So yeah, that's really looking forward to that. I've been wanting to write some concept record work for a while, and the two of us have been talking about doing some stuff, and this is sort of like sew up our collective alleys. We've set up a shop, so that's going to be so good. Really looking forward to that. And other creative things, really exciting, like fucking chuffed to bits. And again, the advice from a friend, the EP's demos are done. I was thinking about like doing an album, but then Mike just basically said, this is your first release as a solo musician. You don't have to make a fucking album. You can do an EP of solid stuff and then work on your next EP and release it in 6 months' time if you wanted to. And it's like, you know what, you're fucking right. So I'm going to be releasing on the Spotify, on the Bandcamp, and various other things. I'm debating getting it on CDs because as much as like the CDs are, the plastic's destroying the environment, until we actually start threatening billionaires with physical violence and or death, and they actually do something. Because until that happens, they're not doing a fucking thing. Then it doesn't matter. It's literally, I might as well just go out and start shooting whales with I mean the animal, the country. I could do with a bazooka. Why not? So it's kind of means part of me is sort of like, well, you know what? Fuck it. Let's actually just have a good time and make an album. So yeah, it's debating whether or not to release it on CD. But either way, the album's going to be done. And like I said, I'm going to be putting Luigi you want to see in the world. That's wow. Billionaires. Wow. Oh. Now all I can think of is the idea of Luigi going into Elon Musk's haunted mansion. Evil. Anyway, so yes, the album, the EP has got the demos sorted. There's a couple of bits I want to tinker around with it. And so basically now I'm going to start putting together bits and pieces. Like I said, I'm going to put the demos onto Patreon for people to enjoy there as a big thank you for those of you who have been supporting me along the way there. And you'll be able to download these things. They are very rough and ready because they're demos. That's the point. For you to listen to. They're not going to be the final versions. I've already got some ideas that I'm going to change around, but that's part of the process. So you guys will have access to those as soon as I get it all sorted out, and I'm happy with this stage. Probably in the next couple of weeks is going to get underway. I'm going to set up a crowd. First, I need to see who's best of the crowdfunders, so I can put together. Like my Patreon, I want to have a very small set of tiers where basically you're effectively just buying the record. I've never seen the point of doing these interconnected series of fucking tiers where you can give £1,000 and receive a blowjob from the musician, that sort of thing. You know, I love giving blowjobs. I'll do it for free. But don't know why I said that. But yeah, so it's going to be quite simple. It's basically you just put in money for the record, and it goes into the recording costs. I'm going to find out. I'm going to get some quotes of what the recording costs are going to be, and also some of the musicians I want to work with. There's some musicians that I would like to work with. The musicians I want to work with, I want to make sure they're all paid. So it's basically a case of how much money we make dictates how many musicians I work with. Now, I'm happy to release an EP that is just me recorded in a room with a stomp box and a guitar, but there's some piano, some tracks in there that I think would be great on the piano. There's some bass work I'd like, all these different things. And then building it up from there. So however much support I can get depends on how much goes in the record. That pays. Obviously, you get the bits and pieces. I mean, yes, I still have Mike up $13,000. So if someone wants to buy Mike, he is still on sale on the Sweet Chunks Patreon. And just got a message from Danny. Excuse me for not falling asleep in the middle of your stream. No worries. If you're knackered, I mean, I've been falling asleep so many blooming times. So just feel free to have a nap, and we'll catch up later. It's absolutely fine. Use the soothing sounds of my voice to relax and send yourself to sleep. Yeah, so yeah, really fucking excited. The EP, yeah, I'm just gonna release my first Aubrey Blakeledge record under my name and such like that as well, which is sort of like fucking hell. Who'd have thought that's gonna happen? But yeah, so yeah, that's gonna happen, and I will keep you all up to date, which is marvelous. So on Patreon, look out for bits and pieces for you to look at and download and such from there. Exciting. Right. Okay, so that's all the stuff I'm meant to be working on. The Call Me Mother performance. Underway with the tour. I've got an album with Professor Elemental to start working on. And a new EP demoed and ready to go. Well, not quite ready to go. Demoed and soon to be loaded, and then the process beginning. And that reminds me as well, I'm just going to add it on here because I'm going to add it into the show notes for later on, is that site, because social media is fucking me off so much that maybe actually having a centralized website will be better. So just put web site. There we go. Because these notes are going to go into the notes on Google, YouTube, so you can check out all the bits and pieces. There you go. Plug. So yes, I'm going to have a new album, an album for Professor Elemental, an EP from myself, a website to design, a tour that I'm in the middle of that I need to book some more shows for the autumn, and potentially some acting going on. So how exciting is that? Brilliant. I'm very productive. Right. So looking at the other things I've been working on, Jesus Christ, that's probably a tenth of what I've been doing. So we'll take a short break and then we'll crack on with part 2, what I've actually been doing. And that's the end of the break. Right. So let's start with the British Rail Book Club. What have I been working on? Well, the British Rail Book Club, for those that don't know, is a little thing that I started a while back. And I thought the idea that when I tour, whenever I'm on a bus or a train or a plane or an automobile, that I'd share what I was reading and what I was up to. And it's also a way of sort of people that I am touring and keeping people aware that, oh yeah, I've got dates going on, because you have to jump through so many hoops of social media now that is something fun rather than being pretentious. So I've been telling everyone what books I've been reading. I'm using the hashtag British Rail Book Club. You are more than welcome to share with me what you're reading when you're out and about and travelling, or just what you're reading in general. Just put the same hashtag or tag me in it, and we'll go from there. So books this time. So the first one is this was meant to be on last time's show, but obviously it got postponed because of all kinds of things. It's one of my favourite book titles ever. Board Gay Werewolf. that I saw it in a community book stand, and I just thought I have to have this. What a name for a book. And it's basically just this silly little thing that I've just been reading. To use, because I've run out of book, to use a sachet of sugar. So that one's by Tony Santarella, and the title actually is a pretty good synopsis. So working my way through that, although that has taken a bit of a backseat because I've had a couple of other books appear as well. So this one, I was going to post it on social media, but I didn't know how to actually do it. So Peter Carpenter's book called Bowieland is a book basically telling you the places of where Bowie was when he was doing his stuff. Now, this seems a little bit out of the out of the ordinary with this sort of thing, because it's sort of like nothing to do with what's going on. Also, it's a new book. The reason I got this is because the photographer King, who is responsible, and so I thought, well, I've got to support my fellow family members who are in the world. So it's basically a fun little book about all the places that Bowie used to visit, with some cool little old school photographs done by my uncle. And the author Peter Carpenter sent a message to Chris, who told him that I'd been doing some sharing and such like that, and basically checked out the music and said that Bees Are Fucking Awesome is a fucking masterpiece. Which never expected to hear, but I'm now accredited by Peter Carpenter, so thank you to Peter. I've thought as well, as part of the British Royal Book Club, talking about the audiobooks I've been listening to. I've just been getting into a podcast of Magnus Archives, which is very cool. And I've had friends telling me I should listen to it. Basically, stories set in and around Bournemouth, it seems, and I've been rather enjoying that little 20-minute snippet. Just the right amount of time for like a sort of a what's it called, Twilight Zone-esque kind of thing. And also, I've been listening to the audiobook Awful Weather Veil, again supporting another musician friend of mine. So my friend Ian is doing the soundtrack to a version of that and the audiobook version. That's a motorbike in the background because everyone's riding crappy motorbikes around at the moment. So bizarrely, I've never heard of a book having a soundtrack before, but this one does, and my friend wrote it, so I thought, fuck it, I'm going to give it a try. It is as gay as a Christmas tree. And the audio is done by a person I think is Scandinavian, and so every now and then some of the pronunciations are really weird and off, but it's sort of like I've just taken it as that's what this fantasy world sounds like, and that's what the people speak like. So I've been doing that. And finally, you may have seen on social media, but I'm going to put to bed all the rumours. I have finally got a fucking copy of June. A year and a half to find a copy of fucking June, and I now have it. Have you noticed it? It's a little bit shonky. Do you know why that is? I got so excited that I brought it with me to Edinburgh, and then I put a hip flask that was filled with mead in it into my bag. The fucking hip flask broke and covered it in booze. So yes, it's now fucked in a way, but I managed to try it out. I wasn't able to read it at all on holiday because I spent the entire holiday drying the fucking thing out. But it now has a pleasant aroma of mead, which is lovely. Thanks to that. But I did make a joke on social media about how it's really hefty. It just felt like it was a funny thing to do. I am enjoying this. It is as fun as I thought it would be reading it after fucking a year and a half. I'll have to say it is a lot easier to read because I've got the film in mind, so I can sort of, some of the scenes I'm going, oh, he's doing that in the film, so yeah, that makes sense. This connects to that, because I don't know if you haven't read Dune, it kicks off when you start reading it. I've forgotten this because I read it a little bit of it in school. Is that I thought I was reading like the third book in a series by accident, because the way that it just kicks off, there's phrases, names, places that it just assumes that you already know, which is rather weird. But knowing the film means that that's a bit more, I can break into it and finally enjoying it. So yes, very excited. Finally got June. I think that just got me drunk. Yeah, that's very meaty. Right. Okay. There's various questions about that are coming up about the hot tub, the holiday. I will get to that, and various other things. So yes, there's the books and such like that. So this is the point in the show where I normally do Dragon On, where I tell you about the dragons I've been working on. But I think I've got you up to date with the dragons and various things because I haven't been doing much gigging because I've been on holiday. But I've been stuffing and sewing the dragons, so I now have this massive collection of stuffed dragons. I don't know if you guys have seen the stuff. I just realised as I was about to talk about this that I'm still not used to having makeup on. I need to stop rubbing my face. But I think I told you guys the last Fizzy Brain about the stuffed dragons. I think I showed them to you. I can't remember because they're all done now. All fucking 30 of the bastards. But yes, now I have stuffed dragons that I still don't know what to do with them. It might be one of those things that maybe... Is that a bit better? I did have to turn it down a little bit with the sound. Sorry, I just had a question on... For those who are listening on the audio version, I've just had... Francesca's just asked if the sound's very quiet. I have toned it down a little bit. I'll just turn it up a little. But I don't want it to cut out. That's the problem. Because my system is a pain in the arse sometimes. There we go. Is that a bit better? Hopefully that's better. I've just turned it up for those of you listening. Keeps dropping in and out. But I thought it was the technology. I put my headphones on just to make sure again. I thought I'd solved that problem, but there we go. Right, so that's a bit better. That's what we're trying to go for. Anyway. So, where was I? So I've got tons of dragons. Yeah, the audio keeps cutting out, and I'm not sure why. Apologies for that, guys. I just have to soldier through. There we go. I have to turn it down a little bit because it's sort of like... I'll turn it over this, and there we go. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it cutting out. I'm going to have a look at it when the stream dedicates some time tomorrow or something. Oh, that reminds me, actually. I meant to mention this before in the stuff that's going on. I will be free on Wednesday because the quiz thing that I was doing has been cancelled, so I don't have to worry about what I'm doing on Wednesdays anymore. So yeah, I'll have some time tomorrow to have a fiddle and get this working. And talking about the sewing machine and such, as you may have noticed, the rig is a lot more stable now. They've got the mirror thing, the camera thing, and various other things. Some of you have already joined me on some of the sewing streams, where basically I just make shit, and I've got some random shit to do. So that's going to continue. I'm really enjoying those because it's just me making clothes for myself and fiddling with things and various bits and pieces. One of the things I'm going to do is, you may have seen me talking about my frustration about the irregular choice shoes. As he goes into the cabinet to find shoes. So I'm holding up to the screen these lovely irregular choice shoes that I bought for my wife with giant bows on them, wonderful colours. They are my wife's size. They don't fucking fit. Because irregular choice is made by bastards. And then I got these ones, these beautiful red ones, that are also my size, but I can't fit my feet in them without snapping my fucking toes off. So how do I get around this? I've had to accept that I will not get my feet into these shoes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own. How am I doing that, you ask? Well, off of Vinted, I got a pair of leather high shoes. Just average, boring shoes. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, as a bit of practice, I want to learn how to do this. I'm going to, for those of you who remember me decoupaging like motherfuckers, I've got a load of Sonic the Comic decoupage that I built up to put on my guitar case. The stuff that that I haven't used, and I've got spare, I'm going to be covering the back end of this, and then also putting some other fabrics on it, gluing it, varnishing it slightly, and sewing. And then I'm going to get some bow ties, similar to this one here, and then fix it to the front of the shoe, making my own rip-off version of a regular choice, because fuck you, that's why. So, not because I'm going to try and sell them to anyone. This is just for my own amusement. I'm going to rip off some of my favourite shoes because they won't make them in my fucking size. Now, obviously, the ones that I loved was the red ones. The red ones are my absolute favourite. I mean, look at them. They're a beautiful red flowery tee for the front, and then the back is all kinds of glorious glitter. So my thoughts are, I'm going to practice with the first design, and then the second one is just more fabricated. It's also more glitter. I'm going to attempt to make these glorious red shoes out of these ball shoes, and then tell a regular choice to fuck off. Well, not actually. I will be ceremonially telling a regular choice to fuck off. I mean, I'm going to sell those because they're just torturing me. I've got photographs of them. I'm going to attempt to make my own. So if you want to join me as I fuck around and find out, and try to make my own shoes, because why do things simply? Feel free to keep an eye out on my social medias. Follow me on Aubrey Blakeledge, or follow me on Patreon, because it's the most reliable one. It's a free thing you can do there, as well as getting early access to my EP. You'll also get updates of when I'm making shit, and follow on here, obviously. And I'll be putting up regular evening streams. This is generally sort of like, I just put Radio 3 on and make stuff, and I then talk bollocks whilst doing it. Apparently it's entertaining. Some people in this stream have said they rather enjoy it, so I'm going to keep doing that, because fuck it, why not? So yes, I'm going to be making my own shoes, because it's just unfair how weirdly fitting they are. Yeah, Francesca, lots of people can't wear regular choice shoes. They're really weirdly shaped. Yes, they are. I don't think they fit anyone. I think mice have a problem getting their feet into these fucking shoes. They're just made by torturous bastards. Anyway, I will be making my own, and that's the plan. So, yes. What else have I been up to? Well, like I said, there's a few things I wanted to talk about, which is why I've sort of skipped through the musical interlude in the middle and gone straight to part 2, is that I went out cycling to freak out my old band. I see, my old band, when I first started years ago, was a band called Bemis. Most of you have probably never heard of them. They play on Alex has 3 pairs. Alex is a bastard. Tell him to fuck off. Lucky, bendy-footed piece of shit. Fizzy choice shoes, yes, and then I have an empire of my own. Anyway, so I wanted to freak out Bemis, and I thought I could get on the train. I thought I couldn't be asked, so I cycled to Portsmouth, and just without telling them anything, just went to their gig and stared at them, which is something I haven't done for a long time. I realised that was actually quite a short story and actually quite dull. So let's go for a more interesting story. I went on holiday recently. To 3 marvellous places. Well, 4 technically. So, first of all, some of you, again, following my social media, will be aware that at one point I stayed in a hot tub that was in a Land Rover. And I loved every second I was in a hot tub that was a Land Rover, because it was a hot tub that was in a Land Rover. But it was this marvellous place in Devon, which is on the back of a farm. You get this lovely little secluded space for yourself with a hot tub in a Land Rover, and a really well-made, like sort of done-up caravan with all mod cons and sort of thing. Well, I say mod cons. It's more like, it's just for camping in a caravan. It's got all the stuff you need. It's got a stove. It's got the heating. It's really nice and warm. It's really comfortable. It's lots of light. Put music on. All those sort of things. And so Lily and I just fucked off and enjoyed spending time together, and spending time in a hot tub that was also I may have mentioned it was in a Land Rover, and wandering around the lovely area around in Devon, discovering it's fuck open. It's especially the pubs, which was a real shame. But we did find some good food, some good booze, and had a really smashing time. And also on the way back, I finally got to go to Stonehenge. Again, you might have spotted that on social media. I have become an English Heritage Ponce and have joined English Heritage, and good thing that I did, because English for Lily and I is £10.50. The entrance for Stonehenge was £30 each. Now, it is magnificent, and I highly recommend at some point you just go fuck it and spend the money and treat yourself, because it is a fascinating site. The visitor centre is a bit underwhelming by comparison, especially with the fucking price tag. But the being part of that ancient landscape and being part of the wandering through the not just the stones themselves, but also the barrows and various other things. It's just a wonderful experience, and we luckily went there on a beautiful sunny day, and also met Gertrude, the bustard. It was I've never seen a bustard before. I always thought bustards were a form of raptor, as in bird of prey. Turns out no, like a cross between an emu and a peahen. And this one was released called Gertrude, and they know it's called Gertrude because she turns up at the same time every year and just hangs around by the stones. And one of my favourite moments while we're at the stones is this beautiful area with this. Everyone spent a lot of money coming to see, and the thing that was getting everyone's attention and speaking to the wardens who were telling them all about Gertrude, and getting all the photographs, was a fucking bird, and not. She was sitting there just eating all the food and pissing the crows off, and the ravens and the rooks, and then literally behind her was fucking Stonehenge. But it was a wonderful day out, and yeah, if you get the chance, go and check it out. I did, of course, decide to get myself a Stonehenge patch, and I've actually, in my little book, it's not here, annoyingly. I put it somewhere sensible. So those of you who I've probably told about this a dozen times, I have a little passport of my cathedral passport, and I added Stonehenge to the list of cathedrals because fuck you, it's a cathedral now, and got it stamped. And also, I went to a charity shop and got me this, which is a Staples library stamp, and it has the most satisfying clunky noise. I don't know if you can hear that. And so now I can stamp all of my stamps with a date stamp on it in a very librarian kind of way. Adding to, I kind of want to put this in a holster and just take it with me wherever I go when I want to stamp something. So I have the very satisfying thing of stamping the date that I visit Stonehenge in my little book, which was marvellous. And so that was great. And also, I found this. It's actually one thing that Stonehenge has as well is a really strong gift shop game. I mean, that is not a bad bit of design, I think. We got the bag for like £8, which is quite reasonable. I mean, you just paid 30 quid to get in, but yeah. So I'm going to be putting this into a little frame and hanging it on the wall because I fucking like this. So we decided to get that little Stonehenge thing. And merch game will be coming up more in the rest of the program, because the amount of gift shops in Edinburgh, and I don't mean like tat shops selling gifts, I mean in the museums. Several museums had several gift shops in them, which is quite strange. More about that in a minute. So yeah, we went to Stonehenge. After that, spent some time at home just doing fuck all. I highly recommend that. If you're going to do a little bit of a travel, pop home for a bit and stay at home, or takeaway, do fuck all, and then go off and continue your journey. It's well worth enjoying your own home without any pressure of doing anything. And we went up to London, and I went to a contemporary art exhibition that didn't made me want to gouge out my eyes. Again, regular friends of mine on this stream, and also regular viewers will know that I have a bit of a problem with contemporary art. As someone that is a former art student and has, respects the game of bullshitting your way into finance, I think I have a problem with the elitism of contemporary art, and it's not about how rich they are or the class or anything like that, but artists make art so fucking up its own arse that it's pushing average people away from art. Art's meant to be a communicator, and yet it's putting up walls of understanding and making people think they're too thick to understand art, which on top of the art being a pile of wang, it annoys me. So most of the time, I go with an open mind. I try to find art that I like. I don't sit there going, "This is all shit. You can't change my mind." I get in going, "This is all shit," and I am trying to like this. But yeah, we went into the Tate Modern, and it was fabulous. There was a lot of work in there that some of it I didn't like, but I respected. And normally I just don't respect it either. One of them, for example, was literally called Piss Flowers, and this artist weed in a snowbank and then poured in plaster of Paris into the cavern, poured something, maybe it been latex, into the cavern, and then pushed away the eyes, turned it upside down, and made these designs, and then was like, "Oh, it's like a kind of flower." It's like, no, what you've created there is a piss stalactite. I could see what you're trying to do, but okay, fine. There was lots of photographers who are self-harming themselves to talk about current culture and all this sort of thing. Again, not stuff that I normally not what I like, but not what I hated. But there was a piece of work in there that actually got my attention and was the most interesting piece of contemporary art I've ever seen. And it was by these guys. I got a little napkin from them because I do like a bit of napkin thing. I'm trying to work out whether I want to sew this onto a jacket or put it into a frame. It's a wonderfully simple idea. It's called from the Gorilla Girls. Some of you may have heard of Gorilla Girls. I highly recommend checking them out. They're doing fantastic work for art, and they create art that pisses the art world off, which I highly enjoy. And also, they're doing something that you can't deny is a worthy thing to do and is really important in art. And that's female recognition and balance. When they basically play with statistics and ideas and joke, and it's very tongue in cheek. It's very playful. It's very fun, and it makes it so endearing and it makes it so effective. Lily and I stared more at their exhibition than any other exhibition in the Tate Modern, because it was so engaging. And so what it says, I don't know if you can read it. So it's a little letter that you can get. It says, "Dearest art collector, it has come to our attention that your collection, like most, does not contain enough art by women. We know that you feel terrible about this and will rectify the situation immediately. All our love, Gorilla Girls." It's a smashing sentiment. The work's great. And I thought I really wanted to sort of make sure that some money was going back to them because it was just great. But yeah, one of the interesting ones is that they did in the art world in New York, because I think they're based in New York. They had a piece that was in 1985 in the five art galleries in New York. There was an exhibition by one woman. In 2015, there was 3 or something like that, and it was like, wow. It's one of those things of like, that the art world is trying to is desperate to reach out to more people. It's desperate to include, desperate to talk about new perspectives, and yet it's still failing. So is that sort of idea that artists don't want to exclude women, but yet women are still being excluded, and that needs to stop. Which is, can't disagree with that. If you disagree with that, there's something fucking wrong with you, and you're in the wrong industry. But yeah, they're doing great work, and also doing it in a really fun, interesting, and engaging way. So if you get the chance, check them out. It's not pretentious at all. It's not preachy. It's actually a lot of fun, and they're doing a lot of good in a really entertaining way. So Gorilla Girls, fucking great. So I really enjoyed that. So got to see some art that was fantastic. And yeah, did all the London bits and pieces, go around there, had some food, caught up with some friends, which was lovely. Shout out to Jen for playing host for a little bit as we wandered around London with fucking great big backpacks, like irritating tourists, pissing the people off in the underground, which is always good fun. Love doing that. The thing is, I'll be more concerned about Londoners in the underground and my bag smacking them in the face if our entire transport network wasn't geared around the idea that everyone has to travel through fucking London. If that wasn't the case, then my backpack wouldn't be in your face, would it? Anyway, so yeah, going up to the glorious world of Edinburgh on the Caledonian Sleeper. It was like 50 quid each way, which I think is actually quite reasonable for the distance compared with other prices nowadays. You get on the train at 11:30 at night. you wake up in Glasgow, Edinburgh, at 7:30 in the morning, and then you start your day. Off you go, and that's exactly what we did. And we travelled around. We went to the Southsea Castle, Edinburgh Castle, which was marvellous. Love Edinburgh Castle. Has 5 gift shops. A lot of gift shops. And we bought bits and pieces and had some good time in there and such, and all these kind of things. Annoyingly, I don't know if you noticed, because Edinburgh's not in England. It's I didn't get entered with my English heritage, but never mind. But yeah, it's not. Just got a message from Smoke and Hide. It says London is rather unpleasant. I normally have had enough getting from Victoria Coach Station to Victoria Train Station. That's one of the journeys we had to make, because we had to go from Victoria Coach Station where we arrived, because we went to London on the bus, and then travel to Euston, which is the Caledonian Sleeper is. One of the things I found really interesting about Edinburgh is that Edinburgh is about the same busyness as Southampton when it comes to traffic. It's considering it's a capital, it's actually quite a relaxing place until people start playing the fucking bagpipes, and it's never good bagpipes. It's always fucking irritating children or really old men. But it turns out in Edinburgh, they've actually got like sort of, you can only play the bagpipes for certain amounts of time, and then you have to move on because it's fucking irritating. So you try to wander around Edinburgh and enjoy the natural sounds and the birds, and it's the sounds of Edinburgh. And then some twat starts playing Flower of Scotland for the 5th time that fucking day. But then again, and I found out from the locals, they fucking pipers. Tourists fucking love it, apart from this tourist. But other than that, it's a marvellous place. If you've never been to Edinburgh, go to Edinburgh. But it was absolutely wonderful. Got to go around, see loads of museums and such. The art galleries there. Went to the National Gallery in Edinburgh. Beautiful. So many wonderful paintings. I actually got to see a Mondrian, who I've never seen in person. I got to see Van Gogh. And also some Monets that I've always wanted to see. I'm a big fan of Impressionism, and so looking at Monet and Manet. What's the song? When there's weird splotches of when the paint's in the sky, and it's the same reason why that's a Monet. Anyway, there's a joke in there somewhere. I need to think about it. But anyway, but yeah, got to go around that museum, and had a smashing time. Actually, it's really, really lovely. There was actually, that's the other thing. One good thing about going to the National, the Tate Modern, was I got to see 2 paintings in real life that I've known my entire life as an artist. One is a Mondrian, and that is the famous Dardist black lines with the red, blue, and green. Red, blue, and white, sorry, and it's inventively known as red, blue, and white. But seeing it in the flesh was amazing to see, because it's been on textbooks of all my life, and it's like, fucking hell, it's a real thing. And then seeing the Liechtenstein painting with the jet, with the going wham, which is a painting I've seen so many years. I've seen so many people like try to recreate it in pre-degree shows, and you always see like the fuck ups in the paint where they tried to paint it in a weird way, and it's just sort of looked like it's not quite right. I always thought it was screen printed. It turns out it was actually painted by hand, and so when you see the real thing and you see the mistakes and you see the brush strokes, it's like, holy shit, this pre-degree guy's actually got it a lot more correct than I thought. Fair play. But yeah, that was it. Absolutely outstanding. I got to shout at some tourists on behalf of the Edinburgh Castle staff. They have the Scottish National War Memorial, which is a beautiful building, very what's it called? Art Deco. Lovely building, and it's an actual. It has several signs in there saying no photography. No, it's basically no photography, and keep your voices down and such. And people were just talking in there like it was fucking Disneyland. And I did sort of raise my voice and said, ladies and gentlemen, this is a war memorial, please lower your voices. And then 2 of the staff came over afterwards and asked if I was all right. I was wandering around again. I mentioned to a couple of friends while I was in Edinburgh, as you may have noticed, I'm actually wearing a lovely little dress right now. I was going around Edinburgh in full makeup with a fluffy jacket on and a walking stick. The people of Edinburgh didn't know what to make of me in a positive way, and it's a very chill place. In fact, the most compliments I got was from one we got from a Glaswegian. He just went, "I love your fucking jacket, mate. Fucking tip top." And it's just like brilliant, very hospitable. The tourists were fucking freaked out, and it's what's amazing is that I was there in a dress, and these tourists looked really quite affronted that they were watching this person with a beard wander around in a dress in Scotland, land famous for its cross-dressing. Anyway, but yeah, so you could imagine me with the poshest accent possible going, "This is a war memorial," with makeup on, a pink fluffy jacket, and a fucking dress and a walking stick. And then one of them came over and asked if I was all right, which is really nice. They were checking up on me, which is kind of, they thought I'd gone slightly mad. Fox Dress Envy, yes, Vinted. I owe all my life to Vinted. Yes, it was an absolutely wonderful space, and got to wander around and freak tourists out, and got some very nice gin. This is where I got this in Edinburgh. Lovely stuff, and some lovely whiskey, obviously, because of course you're going to get whiskey in Edinburgh. It's in fucking Edinburgh. I did consider going. Sorry, one of my, checking from the chat here for the audio listeners. One of my friends is a curator of the Museum of Royal College of Surgeons, and well worth a visit. That was one of the places we wanted to look at, but we literally we saw so much, and we're going to go back again definitely and see some more, because there's like the National Gallery, the National Museum of Scotland. We didn't get to go. Dynamic Earth we didn't get to go to, and the Royal College of Surgeons is one of those places we want to go. We got to see so much. We saw Holyrood Castle and everything. I got to wander around again in perfect, mad, shamble making at His Majesty's residence, which I rather enjoyed. It was a nice museum, that one. And also, I got to tick off the St. Giles's Cathedral. So, got a Scottish cathedral in there as well. They liked it in there as well. So yeah, yeah, you can't see Edinburgh in a weekend. We did try our best in about 4 days, but you know, we're quite happy to go back and see more of it. One of the things I did see, which was fantastic, was the real St. Mary's Street. The real Mary King Street, and it's basically under one of the government buildings in the 1800s. They wanted to build over an old, like, knackered old street, but instead of demolishing the street, they just took it down to a certain level so it's level with the Royal Mile, and then built the building on top of it, so you can go literally through the basement, through a door, and then you're in an underground street, and it's fucking mental, and it's definitely worth a visit. It's absolutely smashing. And in the gift shop, you can buy cuddly Black Death bacteria, and also very learnt lots of interesting stuff in there. Highly recommended it. And yeah, so Edinburgh, absolutely fantastic. Saw the art galleries. It wasn't the shit. Oh, I feel I also have to explain, for those of you who probably found out that Grant Sharkey has been injured recently while running, that is entirely my fault. I do apologise. We went out for a run a couple of weeks back. We made 250 meters into the run, and he punted a brick and slipped on it and broke his ankle. So I do apologise for damaging Hampshirean treasure Grant Sharkey. That was entirely my fault, so yeah, sorry. And the fucker ruined my time, because I decided I was going to run around with him, which I knew he wouldn't be as good as my time, so fuck it. And then if I know he's going to break his fucking his ankle, I'd have just run off and left him, but you know, I had to stick with my friend all that box. Anyway, yeah, so it's been an eventful, in a good way, an eventful weekend, and so there's lots of stuff to do as well. Please tell me that you got a plushie Black Death. No, we didn't. I was trying to save my money for various things, because it was Lily's birthday while we were there, so I was very aware of how much space I'd used up buying her bits and pieces and such. So we were tempted. Maybe next time when we get back, we might buy some diseases. It did make me think when I was there, I really want to make a plague gym. and just wander around in various places, just as a plague doctor. I think it'd be great. Well, I think looking at all the things I wanted to talk about, I'm probably going to come up with things in the chat afterwards, because those of you, this is your first time, we're coming towards the end of the broadcast part of the show, where I tell you what I've been doing. We come to an end, and then afterwards, all of my lovely followers on Twitch, we stick around and we talk bollocks. And I remember some of the shit that I was meant to do on the main talk that I completely forgot about. And I get asked questions. I actually spend more time chatting to the chat, and we get some extra stuff done. So yeah, it's that time. It's funny. It's been a long amount of stuff to do. I did one thing I forgot to mention. I did mention it on social media a little bit, but completely forgot to mention Trans Day of Awareness and such like that. And so yeah, we're here, motherfuckers. Yes, and even including us of the little alcove of gender fluid and non-binary. You may have noticed on the stream I've shaved my beard down. I think I've come to the realization that I'm basically trying to sort of get used to the idea of not having a beard. I like having a beard in many ways, and it's one of those things, but there's still that sort of the Brie part of me wants to sort of have their time in the sun for a bit, and I'm getting old and such. So I basically was trying to get used to the idea of actually having a shaved face. So it doesn't mean a lot to some people. Some people in the chat know actually how really important it is to trans people to try sort of things as such. I don't mean that in a sort of dismissive, you just don't understand, man, but it's just I'm just basically sort of explaining that it's an odd thing, euphoria and dysphoria, which is very hard to explain to someone that hasn't experienced it. And I understand, like, a lot of people sort of take it on faith that we're not mental, and we appreciate that, because we're not. It is a real thing, and that feeling of understanding who you're meant to be and trying things, even if it's like when you've got a full-on beard and you're in a dress, but you get the makeup just right and you realise, I can see the woman in there. Fabulous. And you feel like fucking £1 million, £1 million Scottish pounds as you travel around the streets of Edinburgh. So for those of you who are, and I imagine if you're on this stream, you're going to be, because otherwise you'd just be very angry at this, just looking at me, are allies to... or just not dicks, I think is a better way of saying it. The default is, it's not saying an ally like we're saying thank you for being extra. I think it's thank you for being a decent human being. We do appreciate it. So without you, we'd all be murdered. That's a weird way of ending the stream, but fuck it. Yes, so I was going to actually say, I think what I'm going to do is when I get the talk about finishing the stream. When I get the Patreon stuff sorted out with the demos and such, I'm going to start on my streams here doing a sort of like credits thing at the end, where I basically just say thanks to all the patrons and start naming them. I think that'd be fun. Or would that be irritating? I don't know. Because what I can actually do, I actually realise as well as part of the stream, I can actually set up like a scrolling thing to come down the screen, like credit music. I can put credits on. Let's do that, because that's stupid, and I like stupid. So, okay, I just had an idea on the stream, and we'll do that. Okay, so if you guys want to hang around with us, with me for a bit and talk rubbish, we got the chat open. Oh, I forgot to mention, shit, about the chat. So I'm now an affiliate with Twitch, which means there's loads of things in the chat you can do. You can gift subscriptions, you can do weird things like that. You can. There's also a little bubble logo in the bottom where you can get viewing points and do stuff with those viewing points. And I've added a couple of ones in there myself. So you can do things like messages you can get, but I've also added testing a poll, no swearing, which is an interesting one. If I swear, I have to take a drink. Banning words, singing mode where I have to sing everything, and also I have to put a hat on. I've got many hats in here. I have to put. I also have to change my voice, and also if you have a drink, put it in your your face so we all have a drink. You know, it's sort of stuff like that. It's a bit of silliness and a bit of fun, but now, because I'm affiliate, you can now do stuff like that, which, to be fair, is the reason I actually enjoy and wanted to be an affiliate. I can change the bubble to be a blue Caesar. I know, it's so many cool things. I hydrate. I should actually remember to drink. I know that's gin, but I don't have any water. But thanks for reminding me. So yeah, have fun with that. Have a little look. I'm going to be adding more bits and pieces, like changing the little things around and all these different things for you guys to dick around with. And we'll go from there. There's water. There's carbonated water in there. I'm just going to read that out if that's quite nice, because it's a nice little thing to say. For Francesca, just message saying, I'll always say if trans folk were actually mentally ill, they wouldn't be able to function in any other area of their lives, e.g. work, relationships, household management, etc. Most trans folk are actually more functional with my squirrel brain. Well, that's a nice way of saying it. If we were mental, we'd be doing more stuff wrong other than just fearing for our existence because dickheads in America want us dead. Makes you quite happy to be British sometimes. We just have idiots. That's a very nice thing to say. Thank you very much, Francesca. That's a wonderful. Yeah, very nice. And yes, so thank you for not being dicks. Thank you for joining me on the stream tonight. We'll be back. I'm probably going to come back on tomorrow night as part of one of my things. We'll start on those fucking shoes, and let's see how weird we can make these shoes. A little reminder of the gigs coming up. We've got ticketsource.co.uk with Awkward Strawberry. Thursday is the Awkward Strawberry with Elena, Sirrett, and Fragile Lucy, which is, you know, what I've done is, because I remembered a lot of people were saying that the advanced tickets ended up being like 50p cheaper than the on the tickets because of extra stuff from Ticket Source. So what I've done is I've lowered the prices to £5 at Ticket Source. So when you pay them, it goes up to about £8. So it's sort of, you know, you get the deal that I said, and you get some early bird tickets and such. So you guys get that little bonus if you want it, or just come along to the show and enjoy it and buy on the door. So then on the 4th of April, I'm in Weymouth with the Black Dog, at the Black Dog. I don't have the Black Dog. I've got medication that says I don't get the Black Dog. The 5th of April, I'm at the Lion in Bristol, and that's going to be absolutely mental, and I'm really looking forward to that. A lot of catching up with some good friends and dicking around. It's going to be marvellous, and it's free entry, but put money in the hat and that kind of thing. So come and join us if you're in the Bristol area. And then on the 6th, I'm going to be laughing at a load of pricks at a marathon. Ha ha! Those pricks are my nearest and dearest. And also I'm going to get a t-shirt because I'm actually part of a stupid running club because I'm an idiot. And if you're going to be at the marathon, do let me know, and I'll try and wave at you whilst you are knackered while running around. Next Aubrey Story Time is Monday the 7th of March next week, and then we'll be back to normal as the last Monday of each month. Every Tuesday at 9 is brain stream. Like I said, there's going to be all kinds of tasty bits all over the place, and I will update all the information on the streams and such tomorrow because I am very tired because I keep yawning. So yes, thank you very much for joining me, for downloading stream. I always say I'm going to need weekly shoe customization updates. Do the bubble things reset between streams? I don't think they do. I think they kiss. In answer to your question, I will start giving you Twitch Prime sub as of the 21st of April, a paid Patreon membership. I don't know. I'll look into it. Good question though. Very good question. Besides, you actually support me on the Sweet Chunks page anyway, and all those different things. We'll work something out. Anyway, yes, thank you very much for downloading, streaming, tuning in if you're listening on the podcast or on YouTube or whatever. We're gonna sit on here and talk rubbish in the chat for a little bit. If you want to do that in the future, come and follow me on Twitch. You can also follow me on all the usual social medias. Just search Aubrey Blakeledge, and if you can't find me, it means I'm not on the social media. That's the easier way of saying it. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful evening if you're not on the chat. If you're on the chat, I'll see you shortly, and I'll say to all of you lovely people, if you have a drink in your hand, raise it up and put it in your face. Good night.